I don't have to, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I don't have to explain to you guys that this is going to be huge in this century, and people are going to be using music for all kinds of things. And I want to touch on that a little bit, and I want to talk about something that I've done that is a sort of a manifestation of this, because I've been thinking and thinking and thinking, and I finally took some action. I recorded this CD. This was just released 2 weeks ago. This is my most recent album. It's called State of Nature. And there's a message in this music, and it's a message of atonement and harmony between human beings and the natural world. And it's a message that I think really needs to be out. The way it came about was not consciously decided beforehand. I sort of just fell into it. I just sort of was drawn into this because originally I was only working on my album to do, you know, a conventional approach, like a collection of songs, you know. And as I was working on these songs, I realized that in order to be at my best, there were things that I could do to prepare to record my best music, to do my best work. And so I took a couple of vacations, and I went to some very natural, beautiful places, and I knew that by relaxing and meditating and soaking up the natural vibes, it was going to help me to play, especially if I did my practicing in these places. And it did have that effect, but what I got from it was even more than that. Because at first, it was really wonderful, everything was great, and then you'll probably know that there's something going on there. It's not just some pretty notes and interesting chords and stuff, but I also realized that people aren't going to get the full specifics of the message and the full scope of it just by listening to the music. And so I felt that it was important for me to do things like this, what I'm going to do today, and kind of explain what this is about so that when you hear the music, you can better interpret. We can say that the album is a type of music therapy intervention, but instead of working with one individual person or a drum circle with 50 percussionists or whatever, I'm not setting an upper limit on how many people might potentially benefit from this. So it's sort of like global music therapy, one could say, if it has the effect, and I hope it does. And where the sonification comes in is that this was sort of the method of how I embody these principles in the album. And it happens on a few different levels. One level is that there are messages in the music, and there's some messages that I think you can get just from listening to the music. There are other messages that you can get if you also read the commentary that I wrote in the liner notes of the CD. And so most of the negative criticism I got came in under the category of there's too much variety. Like one critic said, oh, it's a mess. But then another critic said, this album is a triumph. And in the hands of a lesser artist, it would have been a mess. In a perfect state of original oneness, all things and beings in the garden simply are. The arrival of humankind brings a new awareness and a new capacity for compassion. But our perspectives have gotten skewed, confused, and miscalibrated, making us alienated and separated and addicted to illusion. We need to remember where we are and who we are. We are the caretakers of the garden.
Yeah.
Okay? And so the whole idea is that we start out with this beautiful Garden of Eden type of scene. And what human beings bring to it is that we have this expanded intelligence, and specifically what it is that we have the capability to shift our perspective. So we can take the other, the role of the perspective of the other, which gives us the ability to have a new level of compassion. And so if we were to fully blossom and develop that, then we would grow into the adult species that we need to be and understand our role as the caretakers of the garden. So the way that I got this across was, first of all, we have the way I represent the garden is we're in the key of C major, but the whole scale is not played. Here's the 6th degree of the scale. I don't play that 6th degree. I leave it out to us. Because the 6th degree, in music theory, that's called the relative minor. And if I go to that A, then it could start to sound like A minor. In other words, A minor could jump in and say, I'm the root now. We're not in the key of C anymore. Now we're in the key, not in C major anymore. Now we're in A minor. And that's the shift of perspective. And so it's another perspective on the same notes. And so if I leave that A out, that guarantees that we're not going to shift our perspective. So we're very rooted, we're very grounded in the key of C. Because if I played the 6th, then that could take over, so I don't play it. So then what happens is, when human beings arrive on the scene, then we get the A. But we get the A and the A flat at the same time. So, and we go into the key of A.